My name is Rabbi Weisberg. I run something called the Marriage Initiative, which looks to help people with dating, hadracha for chasanim, hadracha for newly married people, and helping out married people in general. I was asked by Epic Families to speak today about parents parenting their children's shidduchim. Epic Families is an amazing organization that really tries to help parents with their children, starting from the youngest of ages all the way through marriage. And they make great efforts in every aspect throughout a child's life up until they reach an adult to give parents whatever they need to help children thrive. I'd like to share with you some of my experience in this area. I myself have married off 3 children already, and I coach many people in dating, and especially after they become engaged and married. Whenever someone is trying to accomplish something, one needs to know what their goal is, and then they could try to accomplish it. As we say every Friday night, we have to know what our goal is. When our children start dating, if we were to be asked, what is your goal? Many people would say, that's an easy question. I want my child to get married. But that answer is incorrect. The correct answer is we want our child to marry the right person for him or her. Our job as parents is to help them find the right person for them in particular. In order to do this, we need to know what parenting means. What is our role when parenting any child? Once we understand that, we'll also be able to understand what our role is within their dating. My Rabbi, Rav Noach Orlik Shlita, heard from his Rabbi of Simcha Wasserman Zechatzadlik Bracha that if you had to sum up parenting in one sentence, that sentence would be doing what's best for the child as opposed to doing what's best for you. And if that's true throughout bringing up a child, it is also true when it comes to helping them find a marriage partner. We have to make sure within our role in their shidduchim that we are really looking out what's best for them. Because ultimately, they're going to be the ones that are married to this person for the rest of their lives. And therefore, it's our responsibility to help them find what's best for them. Now, in order to do this, you must know your child. And if you don't know your child, you're going to have a very hard time helping them figure out who the best person for them is. Now, for some people, it might be late in the game, meaning they don't really know their child that well. And for some people, they might know their child very well. But either way, a parent can help their child when it comes to shidduchim. We have to listen to them in order to hear what they feel is best for them. We can't just rely on what we think is best for them. And for sure, we can't rely on what we think is best for us as parents. Because as I said, we are not the ones getting married. So the first step is actually listening to your child. Even if you think you know the child well, but if you don't listen to what he thinks or she thinks is best for them, you're definitely not going to have a complete picture of what they're looking for and for how to help them. And equally important is that if they see that we as parents listen to them, then they will in turn also want to hear most often what we have to say as well. So the first step in helping parent our child in regard to their shidduchim is listening to them. What does listening to someone mean? So the Vilna Gaon writes that listening has 3 parts. The first part is listening to the words. The second part is trying to understand those words. And the third part is really internalizing what the person is trying to say. And when we hear our children in a way that they feel we're really trying to understand them and we're really trying to internalize what they're saying, they will feel that we're really on their team. They will feel we're really trying to look out for their own good, and we'll understand them in a way that we're really going to be able to help them out. Now, what are we looking for when we are listening to our child's description of who they're looking for as a partner for life? So the most important thing is to hear what your child needs. And what does that mean? What do they need? So Rav Hutner Zecher Tzaddik Livracha said that there's a difference between a need and a want, or let's call it a necessity versus a luxury. A necessity is something where if someone doesn't have it, they're going to feel lacking. It's going to bother them on a consistent basis. A want or a desire makes someone happy when they do get it, but when they don't have it, it doesn't bother them. So, for example, if someone told you that you're not going to be having electricity today, you would think, oh my goodness, what am I going to do without electricity? So that's a need because we get excited about it when we don't have it. But when we do have it, we don't even think about it. A want is the opposite, where if someone would tell you, hey, I'm taking you on a free trip to Israel, we get very excited. But we're not excited. We don't get excited about it when we don't have it. So the first thing we need to do is to figure out together with our child what our child needs are and to help them figure this out. They might say, I need a strong person. I need a person who will care for me. I need a spiritual person. Maybe I need a softer person. I need a go-getter. All these different types of things that based on the child might be a real need for them, where they'll feel if they don't have these attributes in a spouse, that they won't be happy. Besides that, we need to know what our child needs to be able to give to another person. Meaning, if your child feels that they have certain qualities to offer, if those qualities aren't appreciated, then your child won't be happy in marriage either. So if your kid has a great sense of humor, then you need to help them find someone who will appreciate their sense of humor. If your child is high energy, then you need to find someone who will enjoy that aspect of them and appreciate it. Because that is another thing that our child needs in order to succeed in marriage. So these two things are the main things that we need to find out from our children. Now, what exactly is our role? So the first and most important thing is for us to realize that this needs to be their decision. As we said, they're the ones that are going to have to live with this person for the rest of their lives. And the last thing that we would want is for them to feel that they're stuck in a bad situation because we force them or push them into it. So our job is to help them, to guide them, to walk with them, hold their hand through the process. But it is not to make the decision for them, and it is not to push them to do something that they don't want to do. Now, it is very hard for many parents to, quote unquote, let go of the reins. But we have to do this if we want to give them the greatest chance for success. Sometimes parents get very excited about a shidduch. That excitement may come from certain families that they want to marry into. That excitement might come from people living close by. It might come from financial status. It might come from spiritual status. It might be very good reasons why we as parents are excited about a shidduch. But we have to make sure not to even subconsciously push our children into doing something that they don't want to do because of our excitement. Our job is to tell our children that we are there for them, to do whatever we can to help them. There are obviously rare exceptions of pikuach nefesh, where we feel our child is making a terrible mistake, and that we as parents do need to step in. But ultimately, our job is to just be there as a helper. Part of that is making sure that they have someone to talk to. So if they're happy to talk to us in between dates, if they're happy to ask our advice, if they're happy that we are the ones that they're checking in with, that's great. If they're not comfortable with us for whatever the reason is, then our job is to make sure that they have someone to talk to and that they have someone to run their feelings by to make sure that everything is going the way it should. In regard to our role of checking out the girl or the boy before our child goes out with them. If we are the ones checking, besides knowing what to look for, and that we have to speak to our child about, we need to know how to look. I remember before my oldest daughter started dating, my wife had an aunt who already married off a few kids, and she had a 45-minute conversation with me, explaining to me exactly how you have to ask questions if you want to get answers. And I'll give you a few examples. Number one is vague questions get vague answers. If you ask a question, how's his learning? If it's a boy, they'll say, oh, he's very good. If you say, is she a Baal Chesed? If she's a girl, they'll say, yeah, of course she's a Baal Chesed. But without getting specific examples and without getting definitions, you're not really finding out about who the person is. So, for example, if one were to ask about a girl, is she a Baal Chesed? So if the person says yes, so number one, ask them, can you give me examples of what she does as a chesed for people? And you could hear if the person who is giving you those answers really knows the other person and can really make you feel as if this girl is really a Baal chesed. Or for a boy, for example, if you ask, is he a Yari Shemayim? They say, yes, he is. Well, what is your definition of Yari Shemayim? Your definition of Yari Shemayim might be different than my definition of Yari Shemayim. So one has to make sure that the definition that you have of whatever you're asking is equal to the definition that they have when finding out the information you're looking for your child. So one has to ask direct questions, make sure the definitions are equal, and ask for specific examples in order to make sure you're getting the information that you want. If a person does not feel comfortable doing this, then it would probably be worthwhile for them to get someone else to do it. But this is what needs to be done in order to make sure that your child is going out with people that are really fit for them. Besides that, when checking out, usually the people that we're given to check out are people that the other side tells us are good people to call. Why are they telling this to you? Because they know these people will have a good opinion of them. Here too, our job is to go deeper and to try to find people not on the list who know the family, who know the girl or the boy. And if those people know us, all the better. So we need to do our homework and maybe to even ask some of the people on the list for more names. If we're asking a roommate, maybe give me the name of other roommates. If we're asking a family friend, can you give me the name of another family friend, in order to try to make sure that we are getting to people who are going to give us honest answers. So in conclusion, one has to know their role. Our role is to be a helper. Our role is to guide them in the way that they want to be guided and in the way that they need to be guided. And the last thing I would like to share is a line that I heard, I think, from Rabbi Reisman Shlita. he was talking about bitachon and parnasa, but he said that where hishtadlus ends, emuna begins, meaning that we all have to do our hishtadlus. But once we've done our hishtadlus, we have to have emuna that Hashem is not going to ruin our lives. He's not going to mess us up. And as long as we've done what we're supposed to do, then we could be sure that everything that happens from there, Hashem is in charge. This role includes davening, that our children are successful in their shidduchim, and it includes emunah, that Hashem is guiding us, and that if things don't work out, then obviously it wasn't the right one. And when it does work out, to know that Hashem has led us in the right path. Thank you.